Ever think about, like, a rocket? The force it takes to just, like, break free from gravity. It's wild.
Yeah.
Today's deep dive, we're looking at a force even bigger, one that reaches way beyond space. It's all about our attitude.
Whoa, right. It's kind of a mind-blowing concept. We're going deep into this talk from, 2002, by this spiritual leader, goes by Dada. And he actually, right off the bat, compares our attitude, its speed, its power, to a rocket.
It's not just a casual comparison either, is it? He really goes for it.
Oh, absolutely not. He's serious. It's foundational to everything he says. All our thoughts, actions, how we deal with the world.
It kind of reminds me of, you know how people talk about self-fulfilling prophecies, or even that law of attraction thing.
Exactly. It's all connected. Like, Dada's teachings aren't the only place this idea pops up.
Right.
It's everywhere if you start looking.
It's so true. I swear, there are times I just believe I can do something, and it kind of happens. But then, you know those days where one bad thing just sets off a chain reaction?
Oh, tell me about it. It's like the universe is conspiring against you.
But if our attitude is this powerful, how do we make sure it's a force for, well, good? Not just in our own little bubble, but like Dada says, on a larger scale.
Right. And that's where things get interesting. Dada, he doesn't hold back. He points out this huge obstacle. It's not about, like, not having enough stuff or missing opportunity.
It's about our negativity towards other people.
Yeah. Like, wow. Gets right to the point, doesn't he?
He really lays down the law, doesn't he? He actually asks his followers straight up, you know, if they have permission to hang on to those negative feelings. Even with the best intentions, he says, holding on to that stuff creates, get this, negative vibrations.
Negative vibrations. And get this. He thinks they actually block our progress.
It's kind of like psychology, right? What we're learning now about bias and all that.
100%. It's like we put on these warped glasses, and suddenly we can't see anything good about that person or what they could be.
So we get so stuck in our own heads in judging that we miss chances to connect, to understand, even to forgive.
And speaking of forgiveness, that's huge EE for Dada.
He is really big on that, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. He says we got to become like what he calls an ocean of forgiveness. Sounds intense.
Okay, so when he says ocean of forgiveness, he doesn't mean we just let people walk all over us, does he? Or pretend bad things are okay.
No. He's very clear on that. Forgiveness isn't about letting people off the hook or accepting bad behavior.
So what is it about then?
It's about changing our perspective, choosing to let go of that anger, the resentment, so that we can move forward with a clear mind, an open heart.
I can see how that'd be hard, though, if someone's really hurt you.
Oh, without a doubt. And Dada, he gets that. He's real about it, doesn't sugarcoat it. He's asking us to think about a situation, any situation where offering forgiveness, even if it feels impossible.
Could lead to some amazing growth for both people.
Exactly. It's a huge ask, but the potential payoff.
Yeah.
Huge.
It's like if we could bottle that feeling, Forgiveness, even when it's tough, imagine how much lighter we'd all feel.
Totally. And he takes it even further. He's saying forgiveness, it's not just passive. It's like this active force that can actually, get this, reveal something he calls divine presence.
Yeah. He actually says the faster we change our attitude, the faster this revelation, I guess, can happen. It's like our negativity is hiding something amazing, something that's already there.
It's a pretty wild idea.
Yeah.
And to explain it, he uses this really strong image. He talks about how all of our attitudes together,
they create this atmosphere, right?
Yeah. Like a real energy, you can almost touch it. He even says when new people show up, they can feel it, especially if it's positive.
Like walking into a party and you can just tell, good vibes only.
Exactly. He says it goes right to your heart. Way more powerful than just words.
It's like that saying, people forget what you said, but they remember how you made them feel.
Boom. And Dada is saying that feeling starts with our attitude.
So becoming those oceans of forgiveness, it's not just for us then. It's like unlocking this positive energy for everyone.
Right. And that brings us to the action part. Because it's not just about feeling good, right?
No, he's definitely calling for us to do something.
Yeah. He talks directly to his followers, especially those in, leadership roles. He's like, walk the walk, people.
He mentions a spark group. Any idea who they are?
He doesn't get into detail here, but it sounds like they're all about service, helping others.
Yeah.
And he wants them to really live these ideas, positive vibes, forgiveness, the whole 9 yards. Even tells them to come back with stories about how changing their attitude actually changed things for the better.
Like a science experiment, but with good vibes.
Exactly. He's like, don't just take my word for it, try it. But he's not just talking to this one group, he's talking to everyone.
Yeah, he also mentions a transport group, wherever that is.
Right. Again, not a lot of details.
Yeah.
But he wants them to find ways to offer peace to people, like little moments of relief, especially for people who are struggling.
Even small acts of kindness, they matter, especially when they come from a good place.
And he's super clear, this call to action, it's for everyone. He even says, reach out to everyone, no matter who they are, what they believe.
We're all human, right? We can all choose kindness, understanding, forgiveness.
Totally. He even says he wants to see more people from all the different groups involved. Like, the more diverse, the better.
So we each bring something unique to the table, and together, we can make a much bigger difference.
It's kind of amazing how he ties it all together. You know, like becoming better people, working together, and even this spiritual awakening thing.
And he's definitely not messing around. He makes it clear. Time to act is N now W.
Oh, yeah. He's all about action, not just talking or planning, but actually doing something. And you know what? Even though he said all this back in 2002,
it feels incredibly relevant today.
tell me about it. It makes you think, what about my life? How can I help create a more positive, forgiving world? Like, starting today.
That's the question, isn't it? He wants us to realize we all have the power to choose. Every little thing we do can make a difference.
Every act of kindness, every time we forgive,
Yeah.
it's like a ripple effect.
But how do we actually do that, like consistently, especially when life gets crazy, you know? It's easy to talk about being positive, forgiving.
But putting it into practice, whole different ballgame.
Exactly. And Bapdada knows that. He says we need to put in some serious effort.
He calls it intense effort. Like, this isn't some overnight magic trick. It takes work. We have to choose it again and again.
And he talks about having a clean and clear intellect. What's that all about?
It's about being honest with ourselves, you know, about the negativity we're carrying around, those bad habits, the way we react to things. We got to learn to see those things without judging ourselves. And then we can choose something different.
So it's like every moment we have a choice. Get pulled down by the negative or try for something better.
Yeah. Like training for a marathon, but for your mind, right?
Yeah.
The more we practice this stuff, forgiveness, staying positive, the easier it gets.
Right.
But we got to keep at it. Kind of like what Bapdada says with this 15-day challenge he throws out.
Put your money where your mouth is, basically.
Exactly. He's all about, like, real change takes time. It's not instant.
And he calls it a pilgrimage of peace, which I kind of love.
Right. It's like this journey we're on to be more aware, more compassionate. It's not going to be easy, but the rewards are huge.
Makes you think, what if we lived every day like that? Even the boring stuff. Like really going for that inner peace, what would happen then?
And he's big on us not doing this alone, too. Community is huge for Bapdada. Supporting each other, all working towards the same goal.
We're all in this together, right? We all have those days where it's tough to be the bigger person, but if we can help each other out.
Exactly. We create this wave of positive change.
He even says we each have a special part to play.
Yeah, like this big orchestra, everyone's got their instrument. We got to find our strengths, how we can bring more peace and compassion into the world.
It's a pretty amazing thought, isn't it? That just by being ourselves, sharing our gifts, we're part of something so much bigger.
And we don't got to wait for, like, the perfect time to start. It's about right now, finding those little ways to bring in more good stuff.
Because even those little acts of kindness, they spread, you know, one person to the next, like a chain reaction.
Exactly. And we're not starting from zero either. Bapdada reminds us we've already got everything we need. Love, compassion, connection. It's all there inside us.
It's true. We just forget sometimes with life, you know. It's easy to lose sight of that.
He's calling us out in a good way. Like, wake up. You are capable of amazing things.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I gotta ask, what kind of world do you want to create?
And what can you do today? Just one thing, even a small thing, to bring more of that good stuff into your life and the lives of those around you.
Because every act of kindness, every time we choose forgiveness, every time we choose love over fear, it matters.
Let's make those choices the norm, not the exception. Together, we can build something incredible.